After a long hiatus with a lot of snakenings, a lot of brand new trios, we are finally back going over Peterbot's Peak, the series where I go over the current top 10 trios in the world, and I put them on a mountain, and each episode, they will either be climbing up or falling down to reach the ultimate goal of being crowned the current best trio in the world. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we are trying to hit 85,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Use code KDOG at the Fortnite item shop if you guys want to support me even more. Without further ado though, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so I know it's been a while since I've done one of these episodes, so let me quickly go over the criteria you need to be on the mountain. I personally go over 3 separate things. I start off with the eye test on how good I am seeing this trio play, and just from watching them in general, do they look like a top 10 trio in the world? Next up, I go by placements. Does this team have the placements to back up how good I really think they are? And then finally is the players on the trio. Now, the players on the trio obviously matters a ton because there is a big difference between a player like Cold and like a tier 3 pro that maybe just plays like top 3 in his first ever tournament. So not all of the times, but if it comes down to it, I will be giving the benefit of the doubt to the team that I just think has the better players and will end up being the better team down the line. And also, we already heard all the Glaze comments before, like Glaze, Peterbot, Pete, and Glaze. Like, if you still want to comment Glaze over this series, you're literally providing nothing useful for this series. Remember, this is a community ran series though, so every single week, make sure you guys comment down below which trio you think should be moving to which spots. And we are also going to be doing MVP voting at the very end for who we think is the most valuable player this season. All right, with all that yapping out the way though, let's get straight into it. All right, let's start off with the not climbing today section, and these are the people that are just on the edge of being inside of that top 10. Let's start off with Clicks though, and for Clicks, I literally just don't know who his trio is yet. And the only trio cash cup that we saw this team play together so far, they ended up placing 6th in it, so they didn't have like a bad placement or anything, but I don't know if this is going to be a Clicks Cooper Rise thing. I heard some rumors that Muzz could be coming back as early as next week, so is Cooper just automatically dropped for Muzz? And that is mainly like the only reason why I don't have him higher yet on this list so far, just because they've only really played one tournament together, and I'm also just not sure if he's going to be dropping Cooper or not. Moving on to Rezon now, this is another one that is very close to being inside of that top 10, somebody that really should be in the top 10, but this is another team that I am not 100% sure on if Yanis and Rezon ended up dropping Vidil, because when they were playing with Vidil, they just literally didn't qualify for a single finals, and then in the single week that they played with Noah Riley, they ended up placing literally 2nd place in finals. So if it is official that they are playing with Noah Riley now, I think you could make an argument for them to be inside that top 10. They also just don't necessarily have the most events played together. Going on to Malibuca's trio now, that is the exact same thing. I have seen Malibuca and Ping play with 2 separate teammates. I think their official trio is Walks, and with Walks, they didn't qual 1 week, and then they placed 5th another week. So I think this trio definitely has the potential to be inside that top 10, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them in the top 10 as early as like next week. But as of right now, I just need to make sure we 100% know who their official 3rd is, and we just need to see a little bit more consistency coming from them since they were not able to qualify 1 week. And then the final team that is not going to be climbing is Epic Bull, Sphinx, and Reet. This trio has only played 1 tournament together, placing 4th in it. This is another team obviously that has an argument to be inside that top 10. They just don't have enough events played together yet for me to really want to like undeniably put them up there. Remember, comment down below if you guys think any of these trios should be in the top 10. Let's go over to the actual mountain now though, starting off in the bottom row with Threats, Booga, and Miro. Now Booga and Miro have literally been getting like the retirement home allegations. They've been getting the Celtic Shack allegations ever since they ended up dropping Reet for Miro. And this trio has responded with an 11th place in the Trio Cash Cup Finals and a 6th place in the Trio Cash Cup Finals. So I think they are starting to kind of prove some people wrong. I still do want to see a better performance from this team though, simply because of the fact they do literally have uncon agency, and they haven't gotten a single top 5 with that yet. But obviously Booga and Miro, known as one of the greatest duos of all time, picking up Threats, who is known as one of the best like surge aimers ever. This trio also has been grinding a bunch together recently, so I think simply because of all of those factors combined, you have to have them inside of your top 10. 9th place is where we might get my first controversial one of having Marius, Pablo, and Bevies, a team that has only played 1 total event together so far, and they finished 2nd place in it. The thing about with this trio though is I'm pretty sure this is an official team, and literally in the only tournament they played together, being able to almost win the tournament shows that you are on path to be a top 10 team in the world, and I think they currently are 9th. Moving up to 8th now is a trio that I honestly think little to no people really expected to be almost an undeniable top team right now of Cringe, Moneymaker, and Fanayan. They have placed 4th place in the only 2 Trio Cash Cup finals that they have played together in. With Moneymaker's old trio, he literally did not qualify for a single finals, so going from that to back-to-back 4th places now, I think you have to just put them inside that top 10. And then the final team on the bottom row one that is very controversial, but I just think everybody above this team is currently better than them, of Seti, Cammy, and Hari. The first 2 weeks, they were undeniably like a top 3 trio, but the last 2 weeks, they have not qualified and then gotten in 8th place in finals. So going from a 2nd and a 4th to that majorly dropped them down my tiers, but still they are 7th place. I think they do have the high potential to move up, but I think they also do have the high potential to be dropping even further. All right, moving on to tier 3 now, and in 6th place, a team that honestly, if you have not been watching, you don't know how good they are, of Yamzo, Batman, Booga, and Mason. Now, before you guys go commenting like a whole bunch of stuff in the comments saying, how is this team inside the top 6? Just quickly listen to their placements and listen to how consistent they are. They have gotten a 4th place, a 5th place, a 9th place, and a 3rd place in the Trio Cash Cup finals. So they're one of the very few teams that has not only played every single week together, but has also placed top 10 and almost top 5 in every single finals lobby. I have said this a couple times now, but they are by far the most underrated team in the world. You could definitely make an argument if you wanted to that this should be a top 5 team in the world, and I honestly would not fault you for it. But if you are putting them any lower than the tier that they are currently in, you are simply just wrong. Let's get into the actual top 5 now, and one that I was kind of debating where I really should be putting them, but I have Chap, Teeny, and Chicho. Now you guys have to remember, with Teeny, Chicho, and Queasy in week 1, they ended up winning the Trio Cash Cup finals. That placement doesn't have anything to do with their current ranking. Their placement so far together is a 2nd place, they didn't qual the next week, and then a 3rd place. So when they are able to make finals, their worst placement together is a 3rd. I think if this team is able to pull off a win in the future, you might be able to make a real argument that they really could be a top 3 team in the world. This is a little bit of a surprise trio for this season. I'm not sure how many people really predicted Teeny to be arguably one of the best trios in all of Fortnite, but I am very excited that we are here and we have a controller player really putting on for all the other controller players out there. All right, finally in that 4th place spot now, I have Pollo, Bolts, and Rapid. Now this was a team that was very hard for me to not put inside my top 3, but once you guys see my top 3, I think a lot of you guys really should understand. Remember, this is a season by season tier list, and I know a lot of you guys' argument for the Pollo, Bolts, and Rapid trio is they won like 2 times last season, but those were literally not set lobby finals tournaments, and this is a tier list that is going into FNCS, and since FNCS is set lobbies, that is what I am basing most of my placements off of. So they have so far gotten a 2nd place in the Trio Cash Cup finals and a 5th place in the Trio Cash Cup finals. I've said it many times over, this team is an FNCS potential winning team. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season, we might see them inside that top 3, but as of right now, I do not think they are better than the 3 teams I have above them. So let's move on to my tier 2 and my overall best trio in Fortnite right now. All right, now, yes, there is a new trio on the top of the mountain. Before we get into all of that though, let's start off with my 3rd place team of peterbot, Kanata, and Acorn. Now this trio has placed 3rd place in the Trio Cash Cup finals and 1st place in the Trio Cash Cup finals. I think technically you could make an argument for any of these 3 teams for being the best trio in the world, but I think my ranking right now is in the completely correct order. Obviously we have the whole thing with peterbot dropping like so many of his trios, playing with so many different people. I think he has finally found his official trio that he is going to be sticking with for a little bit, and especially after the win yesterday, I think that did buy Kanata and Acorn some more time with peterbot. This trio was able to win 3 out of these 6 games in finals yesterday, but they still were only barely able to win the tournament, so it wasn't like a super dominant performance or anything. And just compared to the team I have in my 2 and 1 spot, they just really haven't played enough events together yet for me to really call them the best team in the world. Let's move on to Vico, Vino, and Flixie. Now I know all of my EU people are about to get really upset that I don't have them in my 1 spot, but just looking at their replacements so far this season, it is 15th place in the Trio Cash Cup finals and then 3 straight wins, which is obviously super impressive. It's why they are 2nd place on this list. The only thing that really puts them down is obviously that 15th place. If that was also a 1st and they just won every single tournament this season, they would undeniably be the best team in the world. I think they are the best current fighting trio in the world, but that is also still up for debate with the team I have in my 1 spot of Cold, Ritual, and Agers. Just quickly listen to their placements so far this season in the Trio Cash Cup finals. It is 2nd place, 1st place, 1st place, and 2nd place, and this is all with them not landing at the minigun. The thing about Vico, Vino, and Flixie and peterbot, Kanata, and Acorn is they both have the most like broken drop spot with the most broken weapon in this meta, and Cold, Agers, and Ritual have been more consistent than both of them combined without the most broken weapon. So I really don't see how you could put any other team above this trio right now. There's been so many people that want Cold and Ritual to drop Agers for peterbot, and I just say the same thing every single time. Why in the world, with the best trio in the world that literally has an average placement of 1.5 in finals this season and has qualified for every single finals, why would they want to switch anything up? If it is not broken, don't go out there and try to fix it. This is definitely the best current team in the world, and I think we're going to have a very fun time swapping between these three teams, not only for this season, but for the future seasons going forwards now. All right, now let's start to talk about some people that could potentially be in the MVP conversation. I just want to quickly throw out 4 names out there, and I want you guys to maybe comment down below your guys' own person who you think should be in the MVP talk. But for me right now, I have peterbot, I have Vico, I have Vino, and I have Cold. Those are just the 4 like default names I think you have to have in those MVP talks right now. Again, I am very open to adding some more people, maybe taking some people off, and we can do like a little MVP power rankings every single week. Other than that though, that is pretty much all for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video and you're excited for this series coming back and you don't want to miss any of the future episodes, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel right now, as we are trying to hit 85,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Use code KDOG on the Fortnite item shop if you guys want to support me even more. YouTube says to enjoy one of these 2 videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Follow me on my Twitter at KDOG to keep up to date with everything to do with Fortnite competitive. We are literally less than like 100 followers away on there from 5,000, so go follow me over there if you guys haven't already. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.